Hey y'all, it's Sharon and I'm back, but I'm not going to share a policing experience. I'm going to ask a question and hopefully I get some responses because I have some thoughts about the question I'm about to ask. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired police officer. I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US, and 11 of those years I was a detective. I was also in the military. And the question I wanted to ask was, it's about policing reform. Do you think policing as a whole needs to be reformed? I'm asking you guys, the ones watching the video, and hopefully you could put some comments below. But I'm going to tell you what I think. My answer is yes. And it's because of my perception and the things that I've experienced. And I've watched other officers and I've talked to other officers from other agencies. And it made me think about this exhibit that I visited probably 12 years ago called Dialogue in the Dark. And it's basically an exhibit you experience in the darkness as a blind person. And the guides are actually blind. So it's like a role reversal, if you will. And like I said, you experience this whole exhibit in total darkness. You can't see anything. I remember one of the scenes was a bar scene. And initially, before, we went in groups of 20, I think, and they told us to separate our paper money into in our pockets, 5 on left, 1s on the right. And when we got to the bar scene, I actually ordered a Coke and paid for it in the dark. But I remember thinking, I'm listening to the bartender's voice, and I'm imagining what he may look like. And at the end of the exhibit, you get to talk to the folks that were in the exhibit. And the bartender was nothing like I imagined. And fast forward to policing, I remember them talking about Lady Justice and, you know, the lady with the blindfolds and the sword and the scales. And she's supposed to be blind. And I thought to myself, in that scenario, I could not see this man. I can only hear his voice. I had to use the other senses. But when I saw him, it wasn't anything like I imagined. Lady Justice is supposed to be blind, but is she really blind? I was blind for maybe 45 minutes, if you want to call it that, going through the exhibit. But I still tried to put a color on him. I tried to put hair on him. I tried to put skin color on this man. And actually, he was a Hispanic male, actually. I imagined him to be white, brown hair, clean shaven, and he wasn't anything like that. Lady Justice is supposed to be blind in terms of how justice is not meted out. I can't say meted out, but she's supposed to be blind to the demographics, if you will, of each individual. And I know that's not true. I know it's not true. And I was instrumental in so many ways in the disproportion you see in the prisons now. And I just asked the question, and hopefully you guys can tell me what you think, if you agree with me or not. I just gave you a small little piece of what I've experienced and what made me really say, okay, policing needs to be reformed. But I just want to hear from you guys. Until then, always remember, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. And check out our online store. The link is in the description. I've also created some notebooks for the pen and paper people like myself. Sometimes I just like to feel the pen and paper. And I created some notebooks for that. And again, please comment. I want to read some of the comments. And like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.